One of the things that really ticks me off as somebody that has been trying to promote Pan-Americanism is the way in which white liberals try to promote hatred between whites and Native Americans, and Native Americans and whites. And I covered this briefly in how Indigenous Peoples Day is really just anti-American propaganda meant to whip up Native Americans and Hispanics against white people in the United States. And this, I think, goes without saying. But what is so bothersome about it is the majority of the people doing this are not even indigenous people. These are, or even indigenous Hispanic people, where, as in Hispanics being more indigenous than many indigenous Americans. But what the problem is that the lily white liberal scum somehow justify their own inadequacy by feeling really good about feeling really bad about things that they didn't do and no white person alive did. Now, the reason this is a problem is it puts back Indian and white relations. I think it's about time that both Indians and whites realize that we're in this together, and that the Americas depend on whites and indigenous people working together for the benefit of the Americas. This is impeded by white liberals, again, primarily white liberals, throwing a monkey wrench into the plans and trying to whip up rage in the indigenous people against the white people, which then causes stupid whites to feed into it with such nonsense as continually bringing up the nonsense of, Aztec human sacrifice, Mayan human sacrifice. Mostly indigenous people from South America. They bring up the behavior of indigenous South Americans, which, by the way, were far more advanced than indigenous North Americans, against the indigenous North Americans. But it's just all sorts of craziness. And again, it is primarily fueled by white guilt. Again, the conservatives that are anti-indigenous, where they bring up these anti-indigenous views, this is from their own guilt in what they were taught about how white people feel bad, so they get defensive. There's no reason to feel bad about conquering a continent. We need to keep in mind that not only did the white people conquer the indigenous people, we had many alliances with many other indigenous people, and a lot of times that the whites would go to war with one group of indigenous people was because we had an allegiance with another group that was being attacked by the other group. And it's very annoying to see people so greatly simplify the relationship between the white American and the indigenous American. It is very sick, and it only is used to profit from the guilt and also to sow discord and race hatred. And that's what's funny, is the liberals are the ones sowing the race hatred, as are the conservatives, because they feel guilty, and it makes them feel good to feel bad about being white or to belittle the indigenous people as the conservatives do. It's time to put that all in the past and start working together.